OWI Beginning Band. This is our clarinet lesson, lesson 1 in distance learning. So let's put our clarinet together. Reed goes in the mouth. You've got your ligature. Here, let me bring this down a little bit. Ligature goes on your finger. You can put your mouthpiece on the barrel. The idea with putting the reed in your mouth is that you're actually hydrating the reed. As it dries out, it gets a little bit wavy and it doesn't rest on your mouthpiece evenly. So by hydrating it, you put water back into it. So when I'm putting the clarinet reed on, it's really simple if you think about it. I can turn it so you can see that I can move it side to side here and up and down using my thumb. And that way I never touch the tip of the reed. And then I put the flat part of my ligature with the screws facing to the right on top of it. Again, I can really just manipulate the reed without touching the tip, which is easily breakable like an eggshell. So once my mouthpiece is put together and I'm pretty happy with how close it is to the tip, you can see there's just a very small black line where the air can get through and create the vibration. So you can do your sound production with your mouthpiece, but if it sounds good, at this time we would just put the whole clarinet together. So again, you need to be aware of your bridge key, and I've gone over that lesson before. If you need cork grease, please let me know, or other supplies, reeds. I can either direct you where to get them, or I can send you them directly, have them shipped to your house. I've actually done that already, so it's important to have everything working. Once our clarinet is put together, we're really going to think about our sound production and our long tones. If we look in our book on page 6, we notice we have our golden box. The golden box has our 3 notes and really is our first place to warm up. So they're E, F with the thumb in the back, and G. So if we play them as whole notes, then half notes go. Quarter notes, ready, play. Eighth notes, take a deep breath, use your tongue, ready, go. That same exercise with each of the notes. So next would be F, then would be G, and since we've been doing this a while, if you turn over to page 8, you also have the golden box there, which has D and C. So combine those 2 golden boxes, all the notes that we've played, C, D, E, F, G. Play each one of them as a whole note 4 times, half notes, which will be 8, so on and so forth. On page 6 and 7, you have E, F, and G as your primary notes. So you can play any of these songs here to brush up on your reading or on your playing of those 3 notes. Since most of them are using whole notes, it also satisfies your sound production. And I usually choose number 5, up and down, which is an E for a whole note, then a whole rest, an F for a whole note, whole rest, G for a whole note, and so forth. Let's try it together. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest, 2, 3, 4. So you could play that again if you're having trouble, or you could move to number 10, which is on page 7, 4 in a row. Same notes, but we're using quarter notes. Let's try that together. 1, 2, 4 in a row. Rest. 2, 3, 4. Next comes G. Here we go. Don't get fooled, it skips to E. There are so many exercises here. In fact, any of the first 10 or 11 will work on just your E, F, and G. So let's take a look at take 5. And we're going to use our recipe of count it, say it, finger it, play it, play it, play it, play it, play it. Let's take a look at the first two measures. We notice that they are separated by an asterisk, and at the top of the page it calls that a breath mark, a suggested place to breathe. But I really look at it as a way of separating our musical phrases. And in this song, our musical phrases last 2 measures. So let's count it. We look at it and we see plum, 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 watermelon. We also can then say the notes. E, 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 G. Now, I actually just said the notes and fingered them at the same time, which we call singering it. Makes it easy because we skip a step. By singering it, we skip a step, which is great. So we're actually saying the notes and fingering it at the same time. So let's E, 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 G. And now we play it. Play it a few more times until you get a nice good sound and you can play it nice and easily. The beautiful thing about counting these musical phrases is that there are patterns in music, 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 patterns in music. If you notice, the next 2 measures have the same rhythmic phrase, and so do the next 2 and the last 2. So we don't need to count again. We know that it's plum, 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 watermelon. So let's play the next 2 notes in measures 3 and 4, which is F, 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 E. Singer the next 2, G, G, E, E, F. And the last phrase, G, G, F, F, E. So you notice I'm singing the notes. I don't have a great voice. I sometimes will use my piano to get me back on pitch, but my intent is to have the note in my head as I am playing it, and that way I'm completely mindful of the note. In fact, the greatest achievement would to be only thinking of the note and playing the note and completely clearing your brain of all other thoughts. Let's try that with the whole song. Here we go. From the beginning, all 4 phrases together. 1, 2, take 5, go. When you're done with take 5, you can do 3-note samba. Again, another song using the 3 notes. Break it up if you notice the phrase markings are a little bit different. I'd love for you to comment on what you see in 3-note samba as far as how you break it up with the phrases. That would be very cool. I'd like to turn over to page 10 and just kind of get you started there. The next video is going to be on Marianne, but I'd like to get ahead of that by looking at the golden box on page 10, which brings us down to this note B. And for clarinet players, make sure you have a good sound with G, F, E, D, C, because as you add B, you're sending the air further. So any of these fingers that are leaking will make a squeak or will not let you produce the tone you want. Again, it's the middle finger, not the first finger, which is for B flat. So again, not the nose-picking finger, but the middle finger. If you're having trouble, just play down the notes. The idea is that flat fingers rule. As my fingers are flat, I'm using the pads of my fingers to cover the holes. If I'm using rounded fingers, I'm not going to really cover them. Flat fingers rule. The note B is called the leading tone, and it leads to C, which is our do. T, do, B, C, T, do, T, do, T, do, T, do, T, do. If we add the leading tone, we get a very nice musical phrase, the leading tone B into C, which is our do, and our first 5 notes for a band. Tito. I'll see you soon with Marianne. Please check out page 10. Go ahead in the book if you'd like to. Text me, email me if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to respond.